heavy hitters are back. We back in motion. We back. I'm your boy Jay.
I'm your boy Emily.
I'm your boy Morrow.
Hey man, today we got our best repackages of all time.
And repackages, for people out there who don't know what that means, is if your character didn't work in the beginning, you get a new character. So they work on changing you around to see if you can get over with that new character. Because the first one didn't work. That's a good way to explain that.
Alright, cool. I'm gonna start it off with one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. Y'all might not know this, how he debuted. I'm gonna go with the man formerly known as Deacon Batista to Batista.
Goodness. Yeah, Deacon Batista was with Devon. That was bogus. He was bald.
He was wearing he was wearing a briefcase around his neck or something.
He just looked bad, bro. Like that didn't look like Batista.
Yeah, Deacon Batista was wild.
That was one of the great repackages for sure. That made Batista when he became, after that, he became a superstar. Like Evolution raised him up.
Evolution's Animal, that led to everything else. So from Deacon Batista to that's basically Deacon Batista was DOA, Dead on Arrival. The Animal Batista, Evolution's Animal to just the Animal. And then, everything else after,
He's just Batista. Won a couple more world titles, big matches. He had a good-ass heel run.
Both, 2 times.
Incredible heel run. The one that started in 2009 when he destroyed Mysterio.
Bro, give him my spotlight.
Yeah, that Batista. Promos was better. The focal point was on Batista.
Yeah.
So he definitely had a great transformation, man.
Bro, you got one?
I thought of this as you were talking, and this just kind of puts him in the hole with his tag team with Bubba. I'm going with Reverend Devon turned into
Devon Dudley.
Yeah, because I understand what WWE is going for, and I'm not gonna sit here and say it was bad.
It was bad.
So for me, I say
you being nice.
Yeah, I'm being nice, but I'm going from Reverend Devon to Brother.
One half of the greatest tag team ever, the Dudley Boys.
Arguably the greatest.
Hall of Famers and most double promotions, both TNA and WWE.
Yes,
they were ECW.
All that. They legendary, man. Me, I got one that's widely known. I thought you would have went with it. Arguably the greatest of all time.
I knew you was gonna go. I knew somebody was gonna go there.
I'm going generic Cena to Dr. Thugonomics. As plain as day, he came out generic, but he had it though. Intensity was there. He put on a match with Kurt Angle, but it's like that wasn't gonna get Cena to where he wanted to get to in WWE.
Bro, changing the tights based on what city they was in.
That's generic. That wasn't gonna get him. He didn't have a character. Fast forward, he rapping now. He wearing jerseys.
It started at that Halloween show when he was rapping as Vanilla Ice. That's where it started and it went. That was the beginning.
Took off. Became a great legendary gimmick. That turned Cena into what we know him today. The Dr. Thugonomics went on, won the United States title, big victories. Then he started to transfer into the kid Cena.
Yeah, the Marine and all that
for the children.
Yeah.
And that elevated even. People, he went from generic Cena, Dr. Thugonomics, to for the people Cena. And every gimmick besides, the last one, the first one wasn't going to go nowhere.
Absolutely,
But he made it a living, out of them gimmicks. 16-time world champion came from it. So, yeah, that's one of the ones that stick out, because,
I actually, believe it or not, thought of one when he was talking. I kind of thought of it from how we were just talking about finishers and everything. Yeah. And it made me think of this because I completely forgot about it, but I remember when I was playing WWE 13, it brought it up. I want to talk about Hunter Hearst Helmsley at the beginning, dressed up in those Renaissance looking outfits and music and whatnot.
Like in the 90s, 95.
Yeah, when he first debuted.
Yeah. That whole gimmick, just looking back, it's just like, But then it got turned around and brought one of the best characters that we know today, the Game.
Yeah,
Triple H.
Hey, I'm gonna drop a little gem on y'all. Y'all might not know this. That character was originally for Owen Hart.
Oh yeah.
That character, the Game, was originally for Owen Hart.
That's crazy. I didn't even know that.
That's the rumor. That it was originally for Owen Hart.
It could have been. You never know. Like plans get changed.
For sure, yeah.
But Triple H, man.
Yeah.
What is to really say about Trips that ain't already out there? I mean, arguably the founder, the co-founder, the greatest faction ever, Evolution. 10 times a world champion by the time we was in 05.
Bro.
You gotta give the man credit with
14 overall.
14 world titles.
You gotta give him credit also too being a member of one of the biggest factions during the Attitude Era, D-Generation X.
Yeah, not only that, his transition into the cerebral assassin and his feud with Shawn Michaels when he just became vicious, brutal. It's a lot
Just obsessed over the world title.
Yeah, like that Triple H. And then he just kept elevating as he got older, but Triple H, yeah, man, that's definitely
forced into retirement too soon. I do want to say one thing, ironically, was with his entrance during COVID. I like how he was the one SmackDown, he was about to go to spit out the water, then one of the production people just come through, take the water bottle, like, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. There's too much electronics here. You can't do that. And Triple H looked at him like, you did not just take my water bottle.
Man.
Like, give me that back. I was about to do something. Oh, I think that was what's it called? His the anniversary show they did for him.
His
Because it wasn't like his 20th anniversary or something.
I think so.
Or 15 or
probably
something.
was
something like that. It was a dedication show. For sure.
Yeah. But yeah,
Oh, I just had one now. I just lost it. I'm gonna go with my boy, arguably the greatest heel of all time. We can put him up there. I'm gonna go with APA Bradshaw to JBL.
Yeah, that was a good repackage. Like APA, JBL was just a tag team, really competitive.
Right.
Ron.
They would just play poker, beat people up, drink beer, that type of stuff. But then you get to JBL, who's the New York billionaire, whatever, dirtbag, that type of stuff. And that led to him becoming a WWE champion for 280 days, 300 days, however long it was. And arguably one of my favorite transitional champion title reigns of all time.
I like how even too in modern day wrestling they try to keep that going, because if you notice during any of the legend shows, they're always in the back at the table just playing poker. You got everybody involved.
Yeah. Because APA was going crazy. They were tag team champions. They were doing their thing. But then SmackDown was a little short on the heels because Kurt Angle was down.
Yeah.
Brock was leaving, so they were short on heels. They needed a new heel, like how they did with Jinder.
Yeah.
And
Don't hinder Jinder.
but JBL is 10 times better than Jinder Mahal.
Yeah, I like that JBL pick though because, like you said, he became a champion when he went to JBL, WWE champion.
Quick. It was like 2 months after he became
longest
JBL.
reign in his SmackDown history. Like, that just show you a repackage. That's a repackage. When you go from something, you was good, but you wasn't quite where you wanted to be, and then the new character give you that, and now you the world champion. That's a real repackage. JBL was one of them real repackages.
I got one
for sure,
and then it'll go to you. And I'm surprised you haven't mentioned this one yet. I actually did think of this.
Yeah, you might take it from me.
I'm talking about Dolph Ziggler going from Spirit Squad to the Show Off.
Nah, I wasn't thinking about that one.
Like,
I mean,
that was a good transition though.
For sure.
I mean, to go from basically a male cheerleader to the Show Off. I mean, I wouldn't say he got his title run like that quick after instantly changing his character. It took a little bit, but during I'd say within the last 10 years of what he's been doing from 2010 to now.
Yeah.
I mean, character work, it's on and off, but in my opinion, it has gotten better, especially his feud with The Miz, where he's like, if I can't beat you, I have no career.
Yeah.
I give to this industry and everything. Being Mr. Money in the Bank, the world title runs he had, United States title, and all that. I mean, that's a big improvement from going around being dressed as a male cheerleader and getting doo-doo dumped all over your head. And
there was another one too. He was Curran White's caddy.
Oh yeah.
When Chavo Guerrero became a middle class white man.
Dolph had two great transitions because, like you said, from the Spirit Squad to the Show Off, he became, hi, I'm Dolph Ziggler, like shaking people's hand, and he became the Show Off. Like you said, he ain't get that rise too quick. He became U.S. champion in the mid card. He ain't really get that world title stud until like 2011. That was like 2011. So he, a couple of years. Like 2 years, he wasn't even in that main scene.
Well,
he was IC champion though.
He was mid-card champion a couple of times. US champion too, I think.
He really got over, especially it was the Raw after Mania 29 when he cashed it in and won.
Oh, yeah,
that crowd did go nuts.
Yeah, that was the greatest moment in his career. Cashing in Money in the Bank.
You could tell the look that man had when he won. He's like, yeah! Like, because that was a long time coming for him.
Yeah, that was definitely... That wasn't like 2011 where Vicky Guerrero just handed him the world title and then Edge come back the same night and beat him for it. No, that was him cashing in Money in the Bank, a real world title. Unfortunately, he had a concussion thanks to Jack Swagger for kicking a ladder into his head, but that forced Dolph to drop the title to Alberto Del Rio. And that's why Dolph ain't been the same since. That one injury when Vince was trying to push him, because he messed him up.
Dolph had it.
He was a world champion, and then you get a concussion. It wasn't his fault. Jack Swagger gave him the concussion, but you got a concussion.
Look, I'm surprised y'all are missing a few, man.
I mean,
there's one.
I ain't even say mine yet.
I think you might take it.
I'm finna say.
No, I'm just saying. But go ahead, gang.
Well, the one I had in mind now, y'all know. He was dubbed the Chosen One in 2009. Drew McIntyre. I mean, Drew McIntyre had arguably one of the greatest transitions. He left the company. He literally transitioned. Hair was a little blonde back then. He was skinny, no facial hair. Now he looked like an animal, a warrior.
I think both him and Jinder did built up and bulk up in size.
Yeah. Well, Jinder's on that juice though.
Yeah, Drew looked like a warrior now. Like the Scottish Warrior is an appropriate name, but I like his transition of a repackage because, like I said, he was dubbed the Chosen One by Vince himself. Like Vince said this.
Yeah, as soon as he debuted.
Exactly. So that's automatically putting pressure on you, and he got fired. 2014. Let's take me back to that promo him and KO had on Raw.
Oh yeah, that was man.
Like he was like, don't ever tell me that I left this company. They called me back.
Bro, he said I got fired.
Yeah.
Then I had to bust my
all his way up. Great promo, but Drew and he became 2-time world champion. Unfortunately, with nobody in the crowd.
Tough. He deserved better.
He did hold down the COVID era, like I have said. I have stated before.
Yeah, for sure. Drew for sure is a great example of repackaging, changing his look, everything.
So mine I'm gonna go with, and I know for certain, I think you were possibly thinking this, and I'm surprised this man was not named first. This man has a main event match for the WWE Undisputed Universal Championship. I'm talking about Cody going from Stardust to the American Nightmare.
What about going from dashing to undashing?
That was a good one.
I mean, we could sit here all day long and talk about every repackage he went through. I mean, with him when he was in Legacy, to when he was dashing Cody Rhodes, when he was undashing when his face got busted, to when he was basically Rhodes Scholars with a mustache.
Yeah, World Scholars. I forgot about World Scholars. Damien Sandow.
To him basically being the knockoff version of Goldust with Stardust. Right. Going off, doing his time in the Indies, and then coming back as the American Nightmare.
Best thing he's ever done.
Yeah, that's definitely a great, from Stardust, definitely Stardust being his last gimmick before he left.
And not to mention how you talked about Drew bulking up while he was gone, so did Cody, because Cody did come back bigger than when he left.
I remember watching him in like 2008, like 21 years old.
Oh, bro, yeah, body not developed. Yeah,
he was just a kid.
I mean, even when we were playing What's It Called back in SmackDown vs. Raw 2011, how we saw how skinny he was, and you see how he's coming out for 2K23.
Yeah, he worked on himself, man. Like he worked on himself. Like that's how you supposed to. You gotta put that work in too. You didn't make it where you wanted to get to before because you ain't put that real work in.
Bro.
Now you left, that give you time to prove yourself, you know. Show WWE like y'all dropped the ball on me. And then they gonna come calling. Once they see Cody developed, they came calling.
And at the same time too, Cody did say that, and it's flat out when he came back, he's like, look, none of this Stardust shit. Yeah. This ain't coming back.
It's over. I'm the American Nightmare.
But then he quotes it in one of his promo. I'm the star that left the dust.
You gotta forget. Yeah, you can't forget what made you go off and do your thing. That motivated him.
Gotta know where you came from. I'm Cody Rhodes. My brother already got face paint on. You throw face paint on me now? Like, come on, man.
I still looking back. I don't know what the hell he was doing with the Ascension. I
forgot about that.
What was that group called? It was called something.
Who cares? That's what it should have been called.
The Ascension is arguably, to me, one of the worst booked tag. NXT booked them perfectly. And I blame I know this is off topic, but I blame JBL for them not making it to where they wanted to go. Because he buried them on commentary every night.
JBL buries anybody he don't
like. They were supposed to be the fake Road Warriors. Or Demolition or something
like that.
Right. They had the shoulder pads.
Right.
They dominated NXT. They were the champions for like over 300 days down there. The longest
that
reign.
was Demolition.
And they came into the main roster and beat the New Age Outlaws. They were supposed to get a push, and then all the legends buried them on Raw. But yeah, that's for another time. I definitely don't like the way the Ascension went out. That was a good tag team.
I feel like y'all are missing some big ones though, because all the superstars that we watch or that we know of weren't always these big superstars.
Well, it's on me next, right?
No, I think it's him because me and you have kind of overlapped him like 3 times.
Yeah, I did. I just did.
I feel like I haven't had a turn though.
You said for us to go. You're like, yo, go ahead. So we just kept going.
All right, I'm gonna go with the People's Champion, The Rock, from Rocky Maivia to The Rock.
Bro.
Come on now. Rocky Maivia was just a white meat babyface.
Yeah, right.
Like
The Rock, that's a character we know and love. Like,
bro,
legendary.
Bro.
What about Stone Cold at the beginning?
I was gonna say that too. Stone Cold was kind of directionless. He was just stunning Steve. WCW fired him because they didn't know what to do with him.
Didn't he have blonde hair at one point?
Yeah, Stone Cold wasn't always bald.
I know, I'm just saying him having blonde hair in general. I couldn't see that man having blonde hair.
Yeah. Him, Rock and Stone Cold. 2 of the greatest wrestlers of all time didn't start off as Rock and Stone Cold. They started off as...
It was like the same thing with Triple H. He started off as this Renaissance-looking Hunter Hearst Helmsley, and now he's the game that we know today.
If y'all want to go with another one that y'all might have missed, Jamal was, I forgot, it was 3 Minute Warning? Whatever it was called. Tag team, Big Samoans, Jamal to Umaga.
Just go out the list, name some more.
I got a modern day one that recently just happened. I'm talking about Asuka going from her old Empress into kind of devious past. I know she had success as Asuka. I know she won the Raw Women's title, this and that. But her character became directionless because they didn't know what to do with her. It was like, what we gonna do with Asuka, to the point where she was barely showing up. Then she took time off. She kept losing matches. Now she back as a fearless, competitor again. Like, I feel like that was a good repackage too, getting Asuka back to her dominant form.
I respect that too, gang. That is slight, but y'all still missing some big ones. We talking about a more recent one that has changed the game. I'm talking about Big Dog Roman Reigns to Tribal Chief Roman Reigns.
Yeah, that's obvious.
Well,
So what's the thing with Cody in a sense?
Yeah, like Roman.
Who would have thought Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes would have been wrestled? You would have said this in like 2012. Like, what the hell? Like, nah, ain't no way. Boy, ain't no way, boy.
Yeah, I mean, you normally can't tell.
I'm just saying, though.
10 years in advance.
I'm just talking about
WrestleMania.
I'm just saying, though.
Well, I mean, because of that, I mean, that's why the topic of this video, a lot of these people that were repackaged, they didn't think down the line they'd be as big as they were.
Exactly. You don't know until you just gotta.
That's why they repackage. They do a character, they see if it's good. If it works, they keep rolling with it. And if it don't, it don't. I mean, look at where Billy Gunn came out of all this too. The whole thing with him with Chuck and Billy and what was that other dude's name?
What other dude?
There was 3 of them. Rico, the little love thing going on.
Rico?
Yeah.
Rico was in there too?
Yeah.
Oh.
It was him, Chuck and Billy. I know that. And then New Age Outlaws, one of the biggest things we know today.
I mean, Chuck and Billy was after the New Age Outlaws, though.
Okay, so I guess I'm going in reverse. Then.
I mean, it's all good.
I'm going from the original to reverse repackage because I mean, who nowadays doesn't know how to recite the New Age Outlaws? The opening.
Yeah, and then if you want to go with Undertaker from the American Badass, back to Biker Taker. I mean, to Dead Man Undertaker. That was a repackage that, even though Biker Taker was doing his thing. But,
I think until the people now still rock with both. I mean, they saw him come back as the American Badass in the Boneyard match.
I mean, yeah, because, because he was still super, regardless, he was still super over. So, yeah. I don't think I'm out, gang. Unless you want to go with Vince was just interviewer to Vince McMahon.
I mean, that's a lot of.
A color commentary?
There's a lot of them to throw out.
Yeah, he was an interviewer too.
Like, yeah, but that's really all I had in mind.
Bro, suck it.
It's been a lot of repackages though, man, that helped careers. Some of them didn't work, but.
I'm just gonna say it's just an honorable mention because these 3 have paved the way in WWE and AEW with one of them. I'm just going ultimately with the Shield to be the 3 of them put together to them being repackaged as superstars they
Basically
are today.
Dominating the industry.
You got the Tribal Chief. You got the Seth freaking Rollins. You got John Moxley. You got all 3 of them together. They're taking the industry by force.
That's
Now, anyone who is into wrestling is always talking about one of those men.
For sure, they definitely, top level stars where they at. So, yeah, but that's all we got for this video, man. Make sure y'all like the vids, though. Subscribe, comment, cut on the bell, man. We 10 away. What you looking at me like that, bro?
No, I'm not looking at you like nothing, gang. I'm listening. You talking?
All right. We 10 subscribers away, man.
Bro.
These openings, closings for these videos have been wacky all.
Man, bro.
It's because of your mans, bro.
But
don't go crazy.
I'm your boy Borrow, man.
I'm your boy.
Money making jam, we out. You hot.